Well, it's hard to believe it's already that time to start thinking about summer forage and pasture. But before we get into that, Brian, what's the soil fertility like, in regards to the wheat crop?
Yeah, so we're kind of at two stages in the state. We have the eastern half that's had a lot of really good rain and really pushing well, and all of our western half is really starting to show drought stress. The thing that's crossed both of them is nitrogen stress. A lot of people back east have had a hard time getting over their fields, getting the nitrogen on. They've been able to run the last week or so. Out west, people just pulled back and said, you know what, I don't have the soil moisture, I don't really want to invest in this crop. And waiting, and really can't blame those for waiting and not wanting to put the investment in, as we're seeing basically the crop zeroing out from the north going south. I would say this though, I don't blame them at all for not investing in nitrogen right now in the western half where it's just rain and dry. However, depending on what they want to do in the long run, it is an option if we get rain in the next week or two and we see a flush and get a good rain, is to put some nitrogen on that crop and we can still get some. So I've always said get your nitrogen on around Holliston. Well, we're past Holliston, we're past that point. But nitrogen after that point isn't a no-go, right? We can get a yield response to both biomass and grain up to flag leaf when we're deficient. And so it's one of those things, if you get moisture and you want to try to put a little on and get a little biomass for hay or get a little bit more grain, we have some time. We're just hoping, we just need that rainfall.
And for producers who aren't going to be able to make a grain crop, that nitrogen's really important if they do want to cut it and sell it for hay.
Yeah, so right now a lot of that crop is yellow. It's yellow stress, yellow for nitrogen. So if we start getting soil moisture, I would not be afraid of putting a little bit of nitrogen on, 30 to 50 pounds, to boost some of the protein in that hay crop, to get a little bit of green growing, and you'll reflush some green. You'll put on secondary and tertiary or third part tillers. You'll get a late tillering flush and you can get some more stuff going.
Yeah, hope for rain. That's been the theme for Sunup these past few months. Shifting forward, you've been getting some calls and questions from producers about pasture management as we're heading into the summer. Last year it was kind of the same situation with drought. What are you hearing?
Right now, my push especially for the western part of the state, soil sample. Get your P and K down now, because even if it doesn't rain much, we can get that P and K in there and we can help manage the stands that we have, Bermuda grass, native, or whatever. And on the nitrogen, just get 30 to 50 pounds down, unless your soil test shows that it's really high, and then you just get your phosphorus and your potassium into the soil. Shift that to eastern Oklahoma. We've got flooding down in southeast. We got a lot of rains up in the northeast. It's still not too late for P and K, but this one, we have soil moisture, we have a full profile now. We need to be thinking about how can we push this system and make good hay to help rebuild our stocks. That means we need our nitrogen out for spring green up. We're going to have growth. We need to be thinking about 2 or 3 passes. So let's fertilize, let's get a good early cutting of high quality and fertilize again. If we stay rainy in the eastern part of the state, that means we're going to leach a lot. So if we put all of our nitrogen down now, it won't be here for the later cuttings.
You mentioned soil tests, and our OSU Extension ag educators in those counties can assist with that.
Absolutely. So they have the soil probes, they have everything you need to go take that soil sample. And I've been saying this, if we think about it, I've looked at soil testing before, fertilizing pasture and fields without soil testing versus a soil sample. I can save a common producer somewhere, or make him somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 with a good soil test. And that soil test costs $10. And if you do it really, really well, it might take you an hour for that field. Most people don't take that long, but it'd take you an hour. So I ask a lot of folks, how many things on your ranch and your farm can you make $5,000 to $10,000 an hour of investment? And so that soil test is so critical. And right now our crops are stressed. Last year, they're going to stress this year. We really need to focus on phosphorus and potassium management in those forage systems to make sure we can maintain those stands. OSU Extension also has this really nice pasture fertility handbook. Each of the species that we grow in Oklahoma have its own 2 pages, so you can either get the entire book or 2 pages at a time print off for just Bermuda grass or just fescue.
Alrighty, thanks, Brian. Brian Arnall, OSU Extension Soil Nutrient Specialist here at Oklahoma State University. And for a link to that handbook, go to our website, sunup.okstate.edu.